Hello, Jim here again. Contrary fuchsia time, plant of the week time. And I have an unusual plant this week. I don't know if I've done a bulb yet this year, but I'm doing a bulb today for you. And it's a bulb of the onion family, or the Allium genus. And the particular one that I'm doing is Allium Sicilium. And it's a really gorgeous bulb. Looks almost like a fritillary. You could be mistaken for calling it that, but it isn't. It's a member of the onion family. I'm going to tell you all about it. This is the contrary fuchsia plant of the week. My name is Jim. It used to be called Nectaroscordum Sicilium, and the Nectaroscordum name refers to the common name, which is Sicilian Honey Garlic. Of course, garlic is in the onion family, all in the same family. I'll talk to you about the family in a few minutes. But the name itself, Allium, is the genus for onions, and Sicilium refers to Sicily. It isn't specifically native to Sicily, but it is specifically native to that part of the world, all around the Balkans, over in far beyond Turkey. It's a native to that entire region, and that's where it comes from. But it's perfectly naturalised here. It'll grow in an Irish climate, no problem. Allium itself is a member of the Amaryllidaceae family, which is an enormous plant family. I think I'm going to say it's the third biggest, but I may be thinking of something else. Anyway, there's about 900 species of Allium. So you have Allium as the first name, as the genus name, and then you have the species afterwards. So you've got 900 species of Allium, which is a phenomenal number of plants. And today we're just talking about the one. And you can grow Allium. I'll show up some photos of other Allium that grow and produce a flower. Every one of them produces a flower at the end of what we call the scallion. You know, that edible bit, the green onion, that bit. If you let that grow up, some of them will produce a beautiful little flower head. Some of them big, huge flower heads, some of them are tiny flower heads, but they're all a member of the Amaryllidaceae family. As I said, Allium siculum is a bulb, grows to between 60 and 90 centimetres. In height. Mine are in a tub, so they don't grow quite as big as that, and they're a little bit exposed, so I'm quite happy that they don't grow that big, because they could get knocked down. So when they do grow up and they get that beautiful drooping flowers that you see on it, that are pinks, greens, whites, that really unusual colouring, you let them die right back into the bulb, and that's the easiest way to grow them, really. You can grow them, of course, in a border, in a sheltered border, where they give height, and they give a bit of movement as well, because they will, with the height of on the stalk, they will move. Full sun, light shade. It'll actually tolerate quite a few conditions. Again, like most bulbs, it will not tolerate big wet over the winter. So if you have it in a pot, make sure the pot is draining even during the winter. Put those little terracotta feet under your pot, and you won't have water lodging, and your plant should thrive, grow quite easily. Free draining soil as per usual. So I suppose the biggest takeaway from a growing point of view is full sun or partial shade and no waterlogging. And I suppose really in our climate, especially over the winter, we can tend to be a little bit wet sometimes. And that's a bigger problem for this plant than probably anything else, whether it's soil or any other growing condition. It's probably the dampness. So pick the right spot, free draining, and you'll get on fine with this plant. The best way to propagate them is to dig them up and use the bulblets or the offsets, and just replant those, and you get new plants from them. I go the lazy way. Just go to a reputable garden centre where you get good quality bulbs that are picked and kept peak of their condition and plant them. It's far easier. I think the real beauty of this plant is how exotic it looks. It has a kind of a Mediterranean feel. That's where it's from, that's where it originates. And it's very, very unusual plant to see. Somebody came to my house a few days ago and spotted it and said, "What's that plant?" And I said, "Some bulbs I planted last year in a tub out on the patio, and they're coming up now." And I said, "That's an allium." I said, "It's an onion," and they said, "No way." But I said, "Yeah, it is." So that's the biggest takeaway for Allium siculum. It does work really, really well in borders as well, because it has the height. In a border of plants, you will have a bit of shelter, so what you get is this lovely tall spike of colour. And as the plant is going through the season, as it's getting towards the end of its season, those umbels will turn up, and you get a better view of the flower again. It's a pity when they're drooping, you don't really see them, but when they, as I say, as the flowers are going off, they turn up, and they offer a kind of an exotic feel to an Irish garden, which is, you can create the conditions, create a border, Mediterranean style border, lots of warm, bright colours, free draining soil, and your Allium siculum will not be out of place. So that's it for another week on the Contrary Fuchsia. I'm Jim. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.